Hello, everybody. Hello. We're here for a Sekiro Shadows Die Twice boss tier list video. Now, we obviously have some amazing bosses in this game, but not all bosses are created equal. Some of them definitely don't deserve the recognition that others do. We usually rate the bosses on three separate things. That is how much, one, I would like to replay the boss, like fight the boss again. The other one is just the overall gameplay experience, which is generally going to be pretty high for most of these bosses. Most, not all. And the other one is the design of the boss, including basically the visual, environmental, aesthetic. First things first, because these are in alphabetical order, we have the Armored Warrior who cries out for Robert. This is a fun little gimmick boss. This is a little fun little puzzle here. I thought it was pretty cool. I think the design-wise, it was something that was like nothing negative, nothing positive, but it was just a fun little experience there. I have no interest in replaying this one, so necessarily nothing negative or special there. And gameplay-wise, I think that was where they could have had the most positive, but it was still just kind of eh. So yeah, it's a pretty basic high C tier boss. To remind you, if anything gets a positive in one of these, it goes into B tier. If it gets 2 positives, it goes into A tier. And if it gets 3 positives, it goes into S tier. And if it's Ishin, it's probably gonna go up here. Now, this is one of the guys that does the like really quick draw. This introduced a mechanic that I really like, which is basically the you need to parry, but you need to parry a number of times in rapid sequence. And in some ways, because they're in rapid sequence, the parry timing is actually rather generous. So you can kind of just spam parry a little bit, kinda, not exactly, but I would say that this is just one of those mini bosses that does exactly what it needs to do. It has no positives for replay or aesthetics, but for gameplay, I'd give it a B, and I'd put it into like a low B tier there. Ashineli Ujinari Mizuo. This is basically the same thing, but he has a little bit more shit, so I'm just gonna put him in the exact same spot, but slightly higher. Cool. I'm glad this boss is coming out like immediately because yeah. Corrupted Monk. I love the Corrupted Monks. It gave me Dark Souls 3 Dancer vibes a little bit. Like, it's way simpler. Overall, I would say gameplay-wise, this one was a big net positive, and the replay value might not be as much for this one, so it's probably going to go at the very top of B tier, but the design of it being like this ghostly version and stuff like that, I feel like could... Oh, just dropped a bead? Oh, okay. Could make it a point to go up into A tier, but for now, I think it's the top of B tier. It's a very good B tier boss. Demon of Hatred. Looking back, I don't hate this boss that much. I feel like this is a boss that, weirdly enough, has problems gameplay-wise. Problem is I have negative desire to replay him. I love the design of this boss. This is probably one of my favorite designs, using one of my favorite arenas for a fight in Sekiro. Like, one of the big problems with Sekiro's gameplay, if you were to come on anything as a problem, is just like any other FromSoft game, you're fighting the camera a lot of the time. That's just the way it is. So Demon of Hatred is one where you get all the best things of the design, you get the negatives of the replay because it's just way too much health and life for something that is more going to be something that you break through with the... you're going to take its health down before you take its posture down. And gameplay... I'm kind of neutral on the gameplay. I feel like it's actually a very high C tier boss. Okay, Divine Dragon. Negative replay, unfortunately, but the aesthetic of this boss, the setting, the environment, I almost want to give it 2 points for the design. I loved this as a little gimmick puzzle story boss, basically, where you're basically you're going to win no matter what. But for all the stuff that was built up with the dragon's heritage and all that, this was a very satisfying, fun little encounter. Yeah, definitely takes second place against Rykard for sure, but very, very fun. Emma, we did fight her. We absolutely rinsed her. I think it would have been cool to see her with 2 health bars, so we could see like a little bit of a larger variety in her moves before she goes down. I think she comes really close into scraping into the A tier category because of the way she kind of glides about the arena. But I think also her movement is probably what keeps her from being a really good boss. I would say she's kind of in that like above average to like decent, because the gameplay is such where she just kind of zooms over to you and there's not really much animation to it, so it's kind of just she's over there, oh, she's going to attack you. How she's going to close that distance, that's fine. So if you're just up on her aggressive, she kind of goes down really easily. So I have trouble putting her into A tier. So yeah, I'm with you, Alex. Yeah, I'm going to put her at the top of B tier. Oh, Father Owl. This is Owl 2.0. This is probably one of the most fair fights in the game. And yet it's one that I definitely want to replay. I definitely love the gameplay. The design of the owl is great, but the fact that we're in this environment has more of a story kind of related thing than am I a fan of generally the pillars in a game like Sekiro, I guess. But it is a way for you to, if you're kind of a noob like me, to get away and quickly heal real quick, because he is relatively aggressive. So I feel like I'm gonna put the other owl in high A tier. I'm gonna put this one in low S tier. First Chained Ogre. It's kind of one of the worst things I would say about the early game Sekiro experience, in my opinion. It teaches you a couple things with moves and stuff, but he just kind of sits there and just does grabs. I would say that personally he teaches you more how to dodge than how to parry, which is not something you should be doing in the beginning of the game. That's all about parrying. So, D tier. The first Shichiman warrior. This is one of the mages, right? I am not a fan of the mages. Folding screen monkeys. Okay, this is kind of fun. I love that there was a puzzle here with the hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, then do no evil. But I just kind of brute forced it, and it was kind of easy. I would say that this is a very ambitious idea, and it kind of fails in execution. I have negative desire to replay it. It'd just be an obstacle at that point. Design is cool. This is, in some ways, the epitome of very high C tier experience. Yeah. General Kuronosuke Matsumoto. Okay, so this is on the footsteps of Ashina. I feel like most of the generals are just kind of C tier basic experiences. None of the generals, I would say, are worth writing home about. The boss I wanted to talk about, like, okay. So, all right. Genichiro is, in my opinion, potentially the best boss in the game. I definitely liked Ishin more, personally. But if anyone was to tell me that they think that Genichiro is better than Ishin as far as, like, a boss goes, I 100% understand you. This boss probably had the most varied gameplay experience of any of the bosses in the game. The gameplay, I would almost want to give it 2 points for this. Having also the very classic, simple, small box for a duel where there's no shit in your way, almost, except for that dumb door and the statue in the back. Honestly, that's the only thing that would make this not be an SS plus tier boss for me, is that little dumb area in the environment. All in all, as far as like an antagonist, as a rival character, all that stuff's great, but I want to replay him. I did replay him on stream for about 2 hours earlier with the inner version, and yeah, I've got to put him at the top of S tier. Great Shinobi Owl. So to separate him from Father Owl, the abilities that he does are slightly different. He does a couple moves more frequently in one and less frequently in the other. But then he has his little anti-healing grenades, which are... I always thought they were a weird animation. I think gameplay-wise, I also had a weird experience with this boss where I beat him in 2 tries and he didn't really do a lot of his moves because something went weird with the AI. But I like the moveset of Father Owl a little bit more than Great Shinobi Owl. I also feel they're kind of the same. I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to put them both at the bottom of S tier. Guardian Ape. I like him more and more the more I think about... The further I am away from my first kind of encounters with him, the more the Guardian Ape just ends up being like a kind of a beloved fight in my mind. There's a lot that I'm like, okay, you have some problems here and there, but I actually want to replay him because it feels like there's so many ways to tackle him as a boss. And the environment and the design of him, absolutely phenomenal. And then the gameplay is probably where I'm maybe the most like, okay, there's parts of the gameplay that are good and some of it that's not good. One, he has his grab. I hate the grabs in FromSoft games, especially this one's with the roll. That's about it. I think he deserves A tier. I think he actually deserves to be put into the, you're not S tier, you're definitely above B tier. So you kind of fill into that like, you're a great boss. And you're probably the best big boss, like the best non-humanoid massive boss in the game. And that's why I dislike so much. You know what? It's a weird way to describe... This is a really weird way to describe him. But the ape is kind of like the Godskin noble in Elden Ring, where when you're fighting just the Godskins individually, you're like, yeah. They're wonderful. Great boss, just overall, everything. You throw 2 of them together, and it's like, why'd you do that? Why? What? No. Yeah. My name is Gyobu Masataka Oniwa! This is a fantastic early game boss. This is the Taurus demon on crack. I love everything about this boss. It's a boss that runs away, which is a negative, but they have the easiest way for you to grappling hook over to him, and the way in which you can just kind of chase him down, but also use his horse as a way to understand that he can only attack on certain sides of that at a time. So it gives you options to parry, which builds up his posture meter relatively quickly. But I would say that he's kind of held back from going into the really high categories because he's not really that interesting to replay. So it's okay. Yeah, I think Gyobu goes right about here. Great boss. Doesn't necessarily do as good of a job as other FromSoft games with teaching you how to play the game with their early game bosses. But still, I think just he's really good, yeah. Headless Akko, the one in the cave. I like them better than the mages. Headless Ape. The Demon of Hatred is better than this. I unironically despise this fight. This fight literally just ruined the ape for me. This is everything that I dislike in a BS tier. I honestly kind of want to. Yeah. Headless Gotchin. D tier. This one's underwater. Bottom of C tier. Ishin Ashina. Oh, okay. This is cool. The idea that we get an Ishin kind of reskin fight that's much easier, But the combination of having Emma be essentially the one who opens the stage and warms up the crowd for Ishin, he delivers. The fire mechanics and stuff like that, I think, kind of hold him back from going into the SS tier. There's a couple things about those moves that generally are, like, again, more of a, focus on then dodging and stuff like that. But maybe, again, that's just me not being good at the game. But I think he is an easy S tier. Yeah, all the moves, the way he uses the Ashina style, the way he is in a weaker version, but also just to re-emphasize this, the fact that this game has multiple endings and gives you, depending if you go down like the dark path, basically, a completely different set of bosses for the ending is just really cool. Fantastic design, fantastic gameplay. Definitely would want to refight again. Also, just to get more time fighting Emma would be cool. And that combined with Ishin makes her maybe a little bit better, but I don't think I can justify putting her into A tier. Sword Saint Ishin. Any questions? Anybody? This? Any questions? What boss in FromSoft that I've played thus far even rivals Ishin? Like, even puts him into like a okay, we're gonna have to think about this. I think Gale might be the only one that, in my mind, kind of fits that. I was gonna say Millennia, but do you have opinions? Oh, yeah, I think Millennia would be a great Sekiro boss. Now that I've played Sekiro, what is Millennia doing in Elden Ring? All those spin moves and stuff like that? Make Millennia faster and rename her as Tomoe. Problem solved. And then make that shit DLC for Sekiro. Fuck. Juzo the Drunkard. I liked the drunkards. The drunkard fights were pretty fun. They have just enough fun to be directly above the headlesses, but just kind of tied with the generals, I would say. All right, Lady Butterfly. Okay. Lady Butterfly. I don't know if this is a spicy take or not, but I think Lady Butterfly actually is kind of jank. Now, run with me for this. I think Lady Butterfly, as far as like a good early game fight, I think she's great. My issue is her gameplay is kind of weird. I'm okay with having like item dependent little mechanics for a boss and stuff. It's a bit of a spicy pepper take. Okay. So I don't like the ghosts. I don't like them. I don't mind having a bit of prep time to go into a boss and fight them again. But there's something so disheartening when you're bad at the game, because you're playing the game for the first time, and you're realizing that you need to go run out and find materials for a thing there. The whole second phase, I don't agree with. I think it's a negative in terms of gameplay. So there's not just that. That's the other thing here. The jumping onto the wires, I think, actually creates a lot of negatives in terms of design here from the standpoint of parrying. Because you want to get into their face and parry all their shit, right? But Lady Butterfly is constantly jumping up, throwing shit at you. Then she does unblockable things that you have to then either do the counter for, basically, which I believe should be either jump or something like that. But if you don't, you're then spending time dodging most of her stuff. And I feel like dodging is literally actually pretty good against her. Again, for me personally, I feel like Lady Butterfly kind of taught me wrong in terms of like the overall fight. As far as like replay, I kind of want to replay her to see how fast I can kill her. But here's my spicy take. I'm putting her there. Yeah. All right, purple guys. Purple guys, I think, go into very low B tier. Purple guys were very cool. They go below Ashina Elites. There's one here that deserves special treatment, though. Which is the one that was in the starter area? Oh, that's this one? Lone Shadow Longswordsman? Oh, okay. So this one I really like. This one was terrifying. I loved this one. So I'm gonna throw this one, like, probably up here. Long arm centipede giraffe. Nani? Wolverine dude. Okay, then maybe they'll go up here. Yeah. Miss Noble! Hey, Miss Noble! Okami leader Shitsu. I don't really remember you too well. I'll throw you here. Orin of the Water. Okay, I kinda liked Orin. Orin was a little bit janky, but overall, she kinda goes up here. Gameplay is good. Maybe I'll move her higher in B tier. I'll throw her up here. True Corrupted Monk is very close to an S tier. I actually kind of want to put them in S tier here. Yeah, even the things that I learned about the boss, you guys were saying about the phase 2 skip and stuff like this, pretty much everything about the environment and the design of the fight is a wonderful thing. The gameplay is really good. It's deceptively hard at points where you're like, oh shit, I have to readjust my timing and everything. And it's very much a fun replay boss. I remember you getting salty fighting her. I know. That was when I realized that movement was kind of useless, but that was because I realized it at this point in the game. That was me taking out my saltiness on a boss that didn't deserve it. Sakura, Bull of the Palace. It's better than the Blazing Bull, but it is still a bull. I'm gonna put it at the top of D tier. Second Chained Ogre. I don't care. 7 Ashina Spears. I really like the spears. I honestly really like the spears. I think that all of them are in good environments as well. You could stealth with this one. That's a fun little thing there. But I think it honestly goes ahead of the Lone Shadows. Yeah. The one in the Hirata estate is probably a little bit lower, I would say, than those ones there. And then this one probably goes at the top. Shinobi Hunter Enshin of Misen. Wait, what is this one? Oh, this is the Hirata Spear guy. Oh, wait. Then who's Shigekichi of the Red Guard then? Is this near the end when Ashina Castle's getting attacked and stuff? The drunkard who uses flames. Oh, then they're in the wrong spot here. They can kind of go down here then. This tier list is getting too big. Snake Eyes Shirafuji. I didn't really like the gun guys that much, but I didn't hate them. I would say they'll go above Headlesses. Kind of neutral, but nothing too bad. Third Shichiman Warrior, get in the dumpster pile with the rest of them. Oh, this is the one that teleported around too, so it was slightly better because it wasn't flying. Tokujiro the Glutton. Huh. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on this one too. Mist Drunkard. Oh, okay. Huh. Put him here. And then leader Shigenori Yamauchi. Now, is this the duo? Is this the dumb duo that I didn't know that you could stealth kill the one guy? I like that they're the last one here, because I had to do a lot of cheese. Wait, wasn't this a tutorial guy? Really? Oh, wait. This is the duo. This is the duo. There we go. Now, I should have just stealth killed him, but I thought I couldn't. But, yeah. This is the guy before Genichiro. Okay, so then... you can go here. Okay, so what about this might need to be changed? I think Emma would be fine sharing A tier with a monkey. And then we just throw him up there for good measure. Ah! No. But I think the thing I love the most about Gyobu is how the horse kind of like nudges him like, hey, get up. Like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be awake. We're gonna do things together. Let's go. It's so sad. Gyobu gets that like heart win for me because of the way he came in with gusto, but also he was the only mounted combatant we had. And since I came from Elden Ring, whereas other people went probably the other direction where they played Sekiro first and then they played Elden Ring, I was inundated with horse-mounted nonsense in Elden Ring. There's so many horse-mounted fights where they expect you to be on the horse to fight, and yet the horse is not conducive to a melee fight. They're more conducive to a ranged, like, spellcasting fight. Thus, the horse combat stuff is, for the most part, pretty eh. But this was an amazing horse fight guy because of the parrying and stuff like that. So, felt really good. Gyobu walked so Red Dawn could run.